Okay, welcome back everybody to the Dream Whisper of Jesus, where we discuss and interpret prophetic dreams. Apologies to all my viewers and subscribers, I've just been a bit busy, but I'm back today. This is the Australian Department of Defence, the Russell officers, so a lot of people working in there during the weekdays, and you always have a few people working there in the weekend too. Okay, today I'm going to share a brief prophetic update on the Russia-NATO proxy war. So, some of you might recall that a month ago on 20th September I shared a prophetic dream about Russia and Ukraine. I saw a Ukrainian woman, which is a symbol of the Ukrainian land, and then a Russian man. I saw them fighting, and as they fought, the Russian man somehow got some of the Ukrainian woman's fingers in his mouth, and then he was biting down on them, and she was yelling out in pain, and she was very angry as well. So this was basically a symbol of the progression of the war. So across the line of contact, Russia's been slowly encircling and taking over. There's at least 8 major battles happening. There's some other ones as well, but these are sort of the 8 big ones, if you like. And so the Russian man was biting down on the Ukrainian woman's fingers, and in the dream I also saw various rings on the Ukrainian woman's fingers, and I didn't know the meaning of all of them, but there was a purple one, and I knew this was the weapon of mind control, that this is how Ukraine controls Western nations in the spiritual realm. And so Russia was biting down on these fingers, and then the big news is that I think it was on Friday, President Putin and the Russian military basically issued an ultimatum to the Ukrainian soldiers fighting in Pokrovsk. So Pokrovsk-Myrnograd is a city of 100,000 people, and basically the Russians have captured about 50% of it. And when you issue an ultimatum, it's basically a signal that you're supremely confident you're about to win the battle. So Russia's basically trying to have mercy on the Ukrainian soldiers, telling them to surrender or else. But sadly, NATO and Kiev won't let those Ukrainian soldiers surrender. So I think it's on Monday that 3-day ultimatum period expires. So after that, the Russians are really going to just crush whatever resistance remains in that city. So those trapped Ukrainian soldiers, they'll be killed or captured. There'll probably be a small handful that escape, but it's extremely dangerous trying to do that. And so that's the Pokrovsk update. So, it sounds a bit gruesome, a bit macabre, but, if you can imagine someone's fingers, basically that Pokrovsk-Myrnograd finger, that's going to be bitten off in probably the next 7 to 14 days that Russia will bite that finger off. Another battle progressing is Kupiansk. Russians have about 50% of that city. That one's a little bit more complicated, so that one will keep going for a while. Then the big news in the last 24 hours is that the Russians have entered this new city, Kostiantynivka, or I think the Russians pronounce it Konstantinovka. So, again, imagining the symbol of a finger, Russia's basically started to make that finger bleed. They've bitten 5% through of it, but that's sort of the big news story. The other one the Russians haven't bitten into yet, but that one's coming close, is Lyman. So because of the geography of that city, it will probably, when the Russians do manage to get to Lyman, that one will go pretty quickly probably. Again, it sounds pretty gruesome, but that finger will be bitten off pretty quickly when it happens. Okay, thank you all my dear brothers and sisters for listening. God bless you, and I'll be back soon. Bye bye.